G'day YouTube, Max right here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a quick look at the Bitcoin markets, Ethereum markets, do a quick little market analysis, and then we've got 75 questions from our Success Council members. I'll be going through those one at a time in just a moment. So let's get to it here. On the Bitcoin price, still my biggest concern is this divergence on the RSI. I really am not liking this lower peak, lower peak, lower peak. At the same time, we're having higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher highs with Bitcoin. That divergence has got me a little concerned. But overall, I am still very much, I'm pretty excited by the pattern here of Bitcoin. This probably, have kind of an ascending triangle thing happening here with these two, this green line here, this green line here. We're in there and yeah, but overall, I mean, we just made an all-time high, so it's pretty strange to say that, but despite the fact we've just made an all-time high, it's just done so in a relatively weak fashion. Like, there you go, 40,000 to 60,000, that's making an all-time high in a strong fashion. You know, 58 to 61 to 61 to 64, weak. But these these higher lows are climbing far more steeply than the highs. So we're getting this triangle concept happening. And so overall, the facts are we're still in 2021. I'm still expecting big Bitcoin prices to hit fairly soon here. I don't like the fact that it's been a little bit weak here. Again, we're in the middle of the month. April 30th is the end of the futures contract, right in the middle of this 5-week cycle. I just would have loved to have seen a stronger push by Bitcoin here. Have it get up over 70, and then you can come back down to 64, and again, no harm, no foul there. But I just would have loved to have seen some strength in that high. But we did make a higher high, we are making higher lows, market structure is intact, and so still pretty bullish for Bitcoin overall. I think Ethereum has been the big winner here. We've got a few big winners here. So we've got Ethereum's been a big winner in the last week. Dash has done really well, up to 315. That's doing very well. And is that Cardano? Cardano at 147, crushing. Really, really good. I got decent positions in all three of those alts. Link up to 42. It's crushing. So it was a really good day for alts. What's the, okay, dominance dropped down to 53. So yeah, nice. Dot 43, so that's been the slow coach of all of those main ones that I watch. Let's get into the Bitcoin dominance and just see what the damage was. And yeah, look at that, man. We are rapidly approaching this blue line right here, which it's a really important line of support. You know, it's been intact for nearly coming up 2 years, this line of support. It's approaching it. If you guys are long-time subscribers to this channel, right here, I gave you guys the heads up. I said, look, I think the DeFi craze is going to fizzle out and we're going to see a huge comeback in Bitcoin. So I was pretty much only in Bitcoin at this point. I told you guys the same, and we enjoyed some really, really good things in here. I did get faked out in here a little bit. But it ended up Bitcoin doing really, really well. And then since then it's come back. Like I said, it's going to be altcoin season. So what am I expecting? I think we're probably going to come down to this trend line and turn around and bounce. And Bitcoin is going to have a stellar time over the next couple of months leading into the summer. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking with regards to those coins. So yeah, I'm really impressed with Cardano, really doing well, and Ethereum is strong as well. I think Ethereum is going to really strengthen throughout the rest of this month and next. But it's fascinating. I think we're gonna turn around now, and it's going to be all Bitcoin for another little period, and we're going to see something in the order of is this the tool I'm asking for? Yeah, some little awesome here. But we might get down here and touch this blue line first. Time will tell on that one. So interesting times. All right, that's the market update. Let's get into questions. Okay, looks like that squiggly red arrow is going to be there to stay, which we haven't had it for a while. Long-time watchers of the channel will know. My squiggly red lines are incredibly accurate. Oh my God, so many times it's just the I leave them there for a month or two, and the price action just follows them exactly. Although I don't like the chances of it following that little backwards curve. That's a bit ambitious. But yeah, okay, that might be stuck there. So we'll have a laugh at that as we go. So please don't forget, subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, and let me know, have you been enjoying this alt season? I think it's coming to an end, so I hope you guys made plenty of altcoin profits in this period. Okay, let's get into, I need this, into questions. Now before I do, I've got 2 questions that were emailed, and then we'll get in here to the YouTube questions. So one is, question 1, this is from Peter. My small portfolio with 12 positions is doing well. Thanks for your recommendations. I use Binance, which is super. Now I want to invest in Equify. What exchange should I use? Okay, let's do it. Let's go back to Brave, and let's go coinmarketcap.com. This is how I do it. If I want to buy some obscure coin, you want to know where it's being sold. Okay, you just go to coinmarketcap.com, and any minute now, I'm going to get a search bar where I'll be able to type in Equify. Let's go search bar. There it is. Just appeared. Hit my search bar. I am looking for Equify. Is that how you pronounce that? Equify. Equify, probably not Equify. Equify. No results for Equify. E-Q-I-F-I. Did I spell it correctly? I did. Well then, in that case, I can't help you. E-Q-I-F-I. Well, whatever you're trying to find, it will have a ticker symbol. And you just type the name of that ticker symbol in there. And if it was Bitcoin, for example, so you can go into Bitcoin, and then you click on markets. This right here in markets, and that's going to tell you all the exchanges that sell Bitcoin. And you can find your pair, and you can find out which exchange you're going to have to sign up to. So that's how that's done. While that's loading, question number 2. I was under the impression the last week's Bitcoin dominance is decreasing and we are in a mini altcoin season, but suddenly Bitcoin is at the all-time high above 64,000, while the altcoins like XRP and Binance continue to do well. Am I confused? Please explain. A little bit. The Bitcoin dominance is the relationship between Bitcoin and the overall market. So if Bitcoin goes up, but all the other altcoins go up faster, then the Bitcoin dominance goes down. So it's possible for the Bitcoin price to go up and the Bitcoin dominance to go down. So that's extremely extremely possible to happen. But Bitcoin dominance is the total market cap of Bitcoin divided by the total market cap of everything. So you'll see here, where are we? The total market cap of Bitcoin is 1.1 trillion, and the total market cap here of all crypto is 2.2 trillion. So therefore, Bitcoin dominance is at 52.5%. Right? That's how dominance works. Okay, let's head back to the YouTube questions. Okay, and again, these are in the order of newest. So we're going to start with Jim Crabb. Max, 2 questions for you. 1, I noticed in looking at some charts that the coin prices are different when using BTC versus USD. I.e. XRP BTC versus XR, presumably P USD. Can you explain? Yeah, so the prices, when you want to look at the price, okay, actually, we'll go back to my chart here. There's one exception. So if you want the aggregate data, you can use BLX. This BLX chart is an aggregation of all of the exchanges together, and it's normally a day late. So you'll see it's normally a day late in the data. So if Bitcoin shot up $2,000 today, probably BLX still tomorrow would show 63,000, and the Bitcoin price would say 64,000, 65,000. So BLX is an aggregate. Other than that, they're all specific trading pairs on specific exchanges. And so you might have a different price on this exchange versus a different price on that exchange. And also, you're in your example, you're pricing different, the price of XRP, if you buy it in Bitcoin, Well, if I want to buy $60,000 worth of XRP in Bitcoin, I pay with 1 Bitcoin. So you're going to get 2 very different responses if you're comparing it. This is Ripple compared to Bitcoin as opposed to Ripple versus the US dollar. So you get 2 completely different prices, and they have different price action. Question number 2. Some of the newer altcoins only seem to work with BTC or ETH. What is the easy workaround, ETH I should say, around to purchase these coins? I really hate to buy BTC and ETH and trade something else. I feel I need to hold those. So yeah, no, that is true. For the vast majority of things, the liquidity pools are not deep enough to justify having them in some other coin. So you'll have the traditional exchanges like the Coinbases and the Krakens and stuff like this. They'll have the fiat on-ramps and you'll trade your dollars for Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then you can probably send your Bitcoin or Ethereum to other exchanges like Uni or Binance or other things like that. And then those are cryptocurrency only exchanges. So their KYC AML is a lot easier to manage. They don't have to get involved with the banking licenses. They don't even need to have bank accounts because their exchanges are entirely crypto, which makes it much easier for them to do it. So so there's two kinds of exchanges. The Krakens and the Coinbases, they have the fiat on-ramps, and they do have like 15, 20, 30, 100 coins, whatever. But then if you want like the 800 coin ones or 500 coins, 300 coins, they're usually cryptocurrency only. And so you have to get to BTC or Ethereum first, transfer it across, and then you do the trading pools are denominated in those 2 cryptos. Okay. I have heard that Binance and other exchanges not currently available to the US are cracking down on users that access the exchange via VPN and locking them out of their account. Do you know how widespread this is? How much of a concern is this? And is there a safe way around it? I currently do this to buy coins, not yet on the US-based exchanges. Yeah, I have not heard that rumor, but it's a possibility. I don't think they would steal they wouldn't steal your money, keep your money, but they might make it a pain in the ass to get out. You might have to go through some huge, you did break their terms and services, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they would do that. I haven't heard of it happening, but it is a concern, and I don't know a particularly good way to get around that. Simon Dixon recently put out a video in which he raised the issue of taxation in relation to buying and selling cryptos. He maintains that Bitcoin and most other coins are completely traceable by the authorities and that every time you sell a coin, you create a taxable event. What are your comments? I completely agree with everything that you just said here. I haven't heard Simon say it. But yeah, every time you trade a bit, you sell Bitcoin and buy Ethereum, or you're trading that pair. You are having a taxable event, and so it's usually really easy to take care of. At the end of the year, you can just download all your transaction history into there's like tax software out there. It's like you pay $50 and you download all your history, upload into the tax software. It prints out a sheet for you and you hand it to your accountant. It takes care of it all for you. Lorna. Perth Mint certificate program, they issue certificates. There are no storage costs. They are guaranteed by the Australian government. What are the risks of purchasing these? My financial advisor is recommending them. I like the Perth Mint program. It's a good one of the best ones in the world. I've never used it because I'm Australian, and so I don't want to have a nexus there, and I don't want to, I'd rather be internationalized and have, I store metals in Switzerland, I store metals in Singapore, and I store some metals in America too. But anyway, it's a fine program, and I totally recommend it. And it's one of the better ones in the world. So yeah, thumbs up for Perth Mint. Nina, I am new to BTC. When am I assigned a private key? Will I only have one private key? How do I apply your suggestion of using a series of words as it relates to the private key? I purchased a little BTC through the Coinbase exchange, but didn't see a private key associated with my purchase. I think I'm missing something. No, you're not missing anything on Coinbase. Coinbase is holding your private keys and you don't get to see them. So Coinbase, in addition to being an exchange, is a custodian, meaning they have custody of your Bitcoin and they have custody of your private keys. When you want to get your coins off of Coinbase and into your own custody, you might use a tool like Trezor. And Trezor walks you through the process of creating a backup, which I think is like 12 words. That's the 12 words you can remember in your head if you choose to. I would definitely write them down somewhere as well. And then your private key will be inside your Trezor device. and yeah, you'll only need the one private key generally. But also, generally, they're not fun to deal with. So pretty much every wallet obfuscates the private key for you. It has them in there. That's how the Bitcoin protocol works. But generally, you don't get to see them, and you don't want to see them. You don't need to see them. In the case of Trezor, you've got this physical device. You plug it into a computer. Your private key is in there. You never manually type it. It just reads the device, and you're good to go. If big brokerages go bust following a collapse of the stock market, how would you be able to buy stocks? Which I think is part of your strategy. With margin debt more than double the levels of the 07-08 crisis, it seems totally possible that brokerages could go bust. Yeah, brokerages could go bust. I'm not super excited about buying stocks. I'm a real estate guy, so I'm going to be buying real estate, not stocks, after the crash. But yeah, it's entirely possible that some exchanges go bust. There could be interruptions to market. You're going to have to see which institutions go bankrupt, what the interruptions are, and then navigate your way around them. But there'll be some way to buy and sell on NASDAQ and other exchanges like that. All right. Questions in real estate investing. In the introduction video, you said that you would show us how to find a syndicate partner in a later section, but I didn't see that in the subsequent videos. Can you please provide some directions for this? So I'm actually creating this. Later this year, possibly early next year, I will be creating a real estate fund, and you guys will be. It'll definitely be available to Americans. It may be available to internationals. I think it will. It will be a minimum $25,000 to $50,000 and you will need to be an accredited investor. That means either $1 million net worth or $250,000 per year of income. So those are going to be the criteria to hit it. If you can't find that, then you're going to have to hit up, there's lots of different message boards and groups and Facebook groups about real estate syndication. You're just going to have to hunt those down and find out which ones you want to be involved in, do your research, etc. 2, in the tax advantaged video, you said you would provide ways to borrow and buy with no money down in phase 2. Again, I didn't see this in subsequent videos, so wondering if you could provide some details. Yeah, it's because we're not in phase 2 yet. I want to see a real estate market crash, and then I'm most likely about to purchase 73 units here, but I'm not super excited about the deal. I'm doing it because I have a tax pressure to do that. There's so much tax benefits in buying this particular lot that it basically eliminates my entire tax burden for the year. So it's just like either give the money to the government or go and get 73 free units. So that's why I'm doing that. But it's not time to get into real estate yet. I'm not advising that for people. So all those videos will come later. Although I do have one video planned in the next kind of 2 weeks. Hopefully I'm actually talking to accountants because I want a CPA on the video with me. I've developed a strategy, but I'm going to basically quiz them and walk them through it. And I've got 2 accountants. One accountant is working on a PowerPoint slide for me right now so we can do it, but he's taking his sweet time. But I hope to have that video to you really soon, talking about that in detail to not only get the tax advantages of real estate, but to get the tax advantages in your crypto. So if you're not paying any taxes on your crypto profit with the strategy I'm going to share, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is kick ass. Hi Max. I'm not clear on the best exit strategy to take. I get that it is wise to take initial investment plus incremental profits along the way up. However, I don't know the best place to put those. Is it into BTC or ETH? Well, that's not taking profits, or if you're taking those. Oh, is it into BTC or ETH for the long run, or into a stable coin? Even into stable coins feels unproductive, like having money in the bank. I have no interest at this stage in cashing out to fiat, as I want to continue to grow my wealth in crypto. Thanks. Yeah, so I mean, there's a whole bunch of things here, but like for example, 2017 boom bust. Even though I did a very good job of predicting the top, and I emailed clients and said, listen, I think now's a really good time to take profits. We're only a week away from the $20,000 top. I didn't sell, and I held all the way down, and I never sold, and I just held all the way up. And so I didn't sell because paying all the taxes and doing all the whatevers, and you might be right, you might be wrong. I didn't do it. I probably will do it a little bit this time, but I just hold crypto. And so, but it depends on your strategy. And look, if you have If you have altcoins, understand when you sell those, it's a taxable event. If you want to put them into BTC or ETH, whatever. But if you think we got to like a 4-year cycle top, then it's totally reasonable to sell, pay the taxes. The price will come down so far that you can probably buy more crypto than you used to have, and you've now got a much higher cost base next time you want to cash out. Plus, you'll have some money left over for the Lambo or paying off the house or whatever it is you're into. So, there's no clear-cut answer. It depends on your risk strategy. It depends on tax consequences. It depends on the stage of life you're in, what you're trying to achieve. So, it's very hard to give a catch-all single answer for everybody. What I can do on this channel is I can say, I think the price is going up. I think the price is going down. I think we're near a cycle top. I can share what I can happening here, but in order to tailor a strategy for you, there's a whole bunch of things that it's not something I do, by the way. You need to be a licensed financial advisor to do that. But that's something that I can't do. I'm just going to give you market advice. You have to be, but all the information in the Success Council members area, that's kind of to teach you how to take all those different inputs and come up with a strategy that works for you. It's giving you all the tools, it's giving you all the knowledge, but I don't know you, only you know you, and you have to come up with the rest of the strategy using all the things that I teach. Max, you discussed BTC futures. The next day, a Simply Hodl article mentions Citron researchers Andrew Left discussing his 2017 GBTC futures purchase. What BTC futures positions are you either in right now, or do you plan on taking any and when? No, I don't mess around with Bitcoin futures. I don't have anything against them. I just don't. There is a really fun strategy. There's such a premium on futures right now. If I was to do anything with futures, I would sell futures. It's what's called carry cash trade, where you hold a bunch of your Bitcoin, you put it on, say, BlockFi, you earn interest. Like, you're going to earn interest. That's a given. BlockFi is going to give you, some interest on your Bitcoin. Well, what you can do is you can go and sell those Bitcoin on the futures markets, and there's such a premium on the futures, you're going to get an interest from BlockFi, but you can sell that on the futures and get a guaranteed return. The trade is risk-free. You have institutional risk, like where you're buying the futures, where you're selling the futures, I should say, where you're earning the interest at BlockFi, but the trade risk is zero. You're literally buying and selling two things and just taking the arbitrage because there's a premium to the futures. Okay, hi Max. Is there such a thing as a dirty or tainted Bitcoin? Yes, it exists. I'm slightly confused by the idea. Could I have inadvertently bought tainted Bitcoin? I wouldn't worry about it. Or is this something I don't need to worry about? Mostly my Bitcoin has been purchased from Binance and local Bitcoins. If you purchase from Binance, I think you're totally fine. If you've purchased from local Bitcoins, there's a possibility they're tainted. So what would be the cost of that? I don't know, and it would depend on what country you're in, depends on the rules of that country. But if you buy stolen goods, even in good faith, like you didn't know they were stolen. So first of all, the concept of tainted. Because everything's on an open ledger on the blockchain, you can trace things. So let's say someone has their coins stolen. Someone says, hey, someone stole my coins. I can see them on the blockchain. They're those ones. If you can find out who's got them, FBI, go and get them and arrest them. Chance of the FBI doing anything or any research is pretty slim, but okay, let's say they do. So then they trace it, and then those people sold the Bitcoin to you. And so now it's provably, you're on the blockchain, and provably you have purchased, inadvertently, stolen Bitcoin. What happens in that scenario? Answer is I'm not entirely sure. I think what would happen is the stolen goods would be returned to the person they were stolen from, and you would have a right to pursue the person the FBI arrested for damages if they could find them. So there may be a little bit of a risk there. But having said that, I think it's a very small risk, and I wouldn't be worried too much about it at all. It's not a big deal, I don't think. Can you explain what you mean by how to anonymize BTC with a token as you described in your Coinbase video? Pardon me. So right now, you can't, Bitcoin doesn't play nice with DeFi because the Bitcoin native token doesn't interact with any of the DeFi chains. But I think that's going to change. When that happens, so because it doesn't interact, you have to go through an exchange and use your KYC AML. So if I want to sell my Bitcoin and just buy my Bitcoin and mix my Bitcoin, I'm going to do it through an exchange. They've got my information. There's nothing anonymous about it. If I think that'll happen in the next year or two, if I can put my Bitcoin on a DeFi program, mix it up, bring it back, it'll be very, very easy to anonymize Bitcoin. So I think that will happen in the future, but it requires the native Bitcoin tokens to be interactable, to be able to interact with DeFi chains. That's going to need to happen. Where do we go here? We got, yes, hi Max. Please contact me. Reply to your email with a request, but if you didn't receive it, replies. Okay. Gold, silver, cryptos. Hi Max, you killing it. Thank you so much for everything. My question is, how high do you expect the total market cap to be by end of year? 10 trillion, 5 trillion to be more reasonable. Will alts also be much bigger compared to 2017? Market cap, it's not how I score it in my head. But yeah, I think Bitcoin will probably hit $300,000 later this year. It's pretty bold, but time will see. Time will tell, I should say. So you can reverse engineer to what that means to market cap. And yeah, alts will probably be even better. Alts will probably be have an even by percentage will be even better. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be wanting to hold alts in the down season. If I'm not in the US and want to transfer crypto gains into real estate for recurrent revenues, in your opinion, what would be the top 3 things you would look for in such an investment? Top 3 things to look for in real estate, like anywhere in the world. The first thing you want to look at is a safe jurisdiction where property rights are respected. Like I wouldn't be buying real estate in Venezuela, even though it is a distressed market, and I think going to a distressed market can be a good idea. But also they don't respect property rights there. They're full socialists, so they can just take it off of you and you'll lose everything. So you want to be in a jurisdiction where property rights are respected, has a long history of that. A safe place where they don't think there's any wars impending. And then after that, 2 things you look at. It's a trade-off between growth and cash flow. So you're looking for somewhere that's going to grow really well, but you want to produce really good cash flow from what you've got. And then the other important thing is, what's the lending environment in that world? Like you want to buy real estate in Argentina, they don't have mortgages. It's all cash. And so you don't get any leverage from your money. But in other jurisdictions, like the USA, you're going to get really good leverage. You can probably borrow 90% LVR depending on your situation. So they're kind of all the main ingredients that I look at when I'm looking at a real estate transaction. And then it all comes down to, for me, the cash flow on cash return, which I talk about extensively in my webinar. At what amount will you be placing your stop loss for Bitcoin with the price above 60,000? I don't have any stop losses at the moment. And I got this from Willy Woo. If you're not familiar, Willy Woo is an on-chain analyst and a Bitcoin trader. He's got a big YouTube following. He's got really good analytics. I was watching an interview the other day and he says, listen, this is brand new, by the way, and I don't want to, I'm not suggesting you do this, but in a bull market like this, do you really want to get stopped out? Okay, you get in when you think it's a great entry point, but at the end of the day, if you get stopped out, it's only going to be a month or two before the price comes roaring back. In this bull market, you're not saying do it all the time, but in the 2021 bull market, for the next 4 or 5 months at least, you don't even use a stop loss, because the worst case scenario, you get stopped out and you didn't find a good entry point, you don't come back in, and you miss some massive run up. So I'm not doing that. I don't use a stop loss at the moment. I haven't got one in. And especially, we're pretty close. We're only, I think, a 50% extension to, what are we at? Let's go here. 50% extension to the, what's it called? 21-week moving average. 21 week is in. Let's get this. No. What I want, that. Let's go. Come on, computer, you're killing me. Look. Yes. All right, fine, be difficult. So, current, I'm on the daily still. go to weekly. All right, right now. Currently 21-week moving average, 4,200. Coming up to here, we're right on 50% extension from the 21-week moving average, which is pretty good in a bull market. There's plenty of room to the upside. In this cycle already, it's been over 100% extension. So, yeah, I've lost the question, but what was that one? Was that the stop loss one? So yeah, I'm not too worried about a stop loss right now. I'd rather stay in the trade. Hi Max, looking at exit strategies when it's time to take profits and minimizing risk. Should I create a company and have it buy property? Or is it too late to do this once cryptos have already been purchased privately? That's a complicated question, Chris, and it's going to come down to your specific situation. I don't even know what jurisdiction you're in. So are we talking about US tax law? So yeah, you're going to have to speak to an accountant about that. I can't offer specific financial advice like whether or not you should set up an entity. Sorry, I'm just not allowed to do that. Hi Max, I've watched your video on turning 5K into 100K per year, but I'm still not understanding it fully. Can you comment on this again? No, Jimmy, I mean, I spend like 20 or 30 minutes laying out that strategy, and I've got a whiteboard to use, and I don't think I'm going to be able to add anything without the use of a whiteboard in a couple of minutes. If you have a specific question, I'm happy to try and answer it, but to just try and rehash that whole strategy, I can't help you, sorry. Hi Max, what's your strategy for the bear market, including if now with so many big players in Bitcoin and with central bank money printing no end in sight, will it ever be a bear market or is this the roaring 20s before the crash? Yeah, who knows? I mean, yeah, I think there still will be a bear market, but we'll have to wait and see. Like, I don't know, if in December, the price of Bitcoin's at 80,000 and we never had a crazy up, cycle, then I would say that we're not going to have the down cycle. But if Bitcoin gets to 300,000, yeah, I think that the price will eventually come back down to somewhere around 60, 80 to $100,000 in late 2022, early 2023, something like that. Hi Max, I'm new to trading. Can you help set up a secure wallet? Yeah, I suggest Trezor. Just go to Amazon.com and buy a Trezor, Trezor, and it's a great place to start. Hi Max. Can you explain for altcoins what's an ideal low market cap? So if you buy the coin cheap and it moves, it's quick to profit, it's a good pick compared to which coins to stay away from other than alts that are disruptors. Thanks. So it just depends on your strategy. Look, the lower the market cap, the bigger risk, but the higher potential gains. But a lot of those coins will go to zero. And so you just, as you move up market cap, meaning towards number one, towards Bitcoin, every step you take, you get lower and lower risk, but probably lower and lower gains. So there's no the right answer. It depends on what your strategy is. How much risk you want to take on, how much research you want to do, how much you back yourself to pick the winners from the losers. Yeah, I can't really answer that question any better than that. Can you please discuss cold storage options, especially for the less well-known cryptos? So, I mean, Trezor is considered cold storage. You put it on a Trezor and you put the Trezor in your safe or in a locker box or something, and those keys are offline, and you're good to go. So I think Trezor is a good cold storage option. You can also do, and you get the paper backups from that as well. So I think just use Trezor. It's your best option. If you had 100K, what would you get into right now to make $1 million? Yeah, I just put it all in Bitcoin right now. If it was a little bit earlier in the altcoin season cycle, I would say altcoins. But right now, we've got a little bit further to go with altcoins. But then I think it's going to turn around and Bitcoin's going to kick everyone's ass for the few months after that. So I think Bitcoin's going to be where it's at for the next few months. Maybe not for the next few weeks, but for the next few months. Looks like Bitcoin is about to go parabolic. Musk's sailor and monetary policy seem to agree. I'm not asking price. I think it will be between 100 and 300. What I am asking is, do you think this next parabolic run-up will be the last one in this cycle? No, I don't think so. No, I think there'll be a few. Generally, I think it goes like 5. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think we're only at 2 or 3 right now. So yeah, I think there'll be more. Hey Max, what altcoins do you... Yeah, in 2017, I think there were 12, like 15% plus pullbacks, basically about one a month. So I expect that to kind of continue. Now, and if you look at the chart with those blue lines delineating the monthly, hey, my chart's working, yay. These blue lines are monthly. You can see, okay, so we've got a big red candle this month, couple of red candles that month, haven't had any red candles this month. And so we're kind of staying true to form of having some red candle weeks per month. So yes. Hey Max, what altcoins do you think will moon the most this bull season? I don't know. I'm into most of the majors. I've got Cardano, I've got Ethereum, I've got some DOT, I've got Link. I missed Binance, frustratingly. I'm not on Binance. It's just because I never got a chance to look at it. Not that I have anything against Binance. And more is the pity me, because it's obviously performed very, very well. But I did get a lot of it. Cardano, I think, is the top performer. Yeah, glad I was on that one. Hey Max, can you recommend the best way to create an offshore account business for tax purposes, or a company that recommends on this kind of thing? Well, I can't, so I don't even know what jurisdiction you're in. You know, you want to be offshore to where? Probably if you're in America, you need to go offshore. If you're anywhere else, you probably want to come onshore, because like America is the biggest tax haven in the world for non-citizens. If you live here, you maybe have to go overseas. But when I used to do this, I don't. I've just become so good at the American tax system now. I don't pay much in taxes. Like, I've got myself pretty sorted in with some really good accounting and things like that going on here, and some really good tax benefits. So, but when I wanted to do it, back when I used to do it, I just found some companies online. Usually, I think Simon Black, I'm a subscriber to his newsletter, and he recommended a few people, so maybe I found them through him. But yeah, you can just find them online, do your research. Hey Max, what is your plan to do at the top of the bull run? Will you put BTC and alts into stablecoin, or keep it in BTC and short on the way down? Do you think we'll see an approximate 85% drop if we have another bear drop after the top? I don't think 85%, but I think probably 65 to 70% will be how far this one drops this time. And yeah, and no, I will go into cash for some of it. I'm not going to short. I'll just take a little bit off, get some cash, just take some cash out at the top, buy some real estate, and leave it like that. And hopefully I've made enough money to buy it all back at the bottom a year or two later. That's the plan. Hey Max, what do you think of Sentinel VPN and the coin involved? Sentinel is a free VPN service. Also, the mention of a world tax for corporations by Janet Yellen. Do you think this have a negative effect on individual choices of secondary residency, dual citizenship down the road? Yeah, I mean, so firstly, on the Sentinel VPN, never heard of it, don't have an opinion on it, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. World tax for corporations, I think that's a long way out. I don't think that's going to come too soon. And will it have a negative effect? I don't know. It will have an effect, yes. Negative effect, I don't know. I mean, all taxes cause misallocation of resources. So yeah, will it have a negative effect? Yes, it will be negative. But there'll be ways to be smart. Like these are done at the behest of the richest people in the world. The goal is to tax middle class, not the wealthy. Like when income tax was invented, the very same year, not invented. When income tax was introduced to America in 1913, it was supposed to be on the top 1% only. But at the same time, what was introduced was the tax endowment, or the tax exempt foundation. So the Carnegie Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, all the richest people in the country put their money in a tax-free foundation and never paid taxes since. So these taxes are designed for the middle class. There'll be a way to get out of them. You just have to find out what that is and how they're doing it, and copy and emulate them. Being a subscriber of Success Council, I mean, if that's something they do, you'll see me follow up on that and find some strategies to beat that. I've been heavily invested in Bitcoin and hodling for the last 6 months. Well, you've been doing well, George. And I've also built up a significant basket of alts, crushing life. Have experienced incredible gains across the board, but I'm very grey in formulating an exit strategy, particularly for some of my altcoins. I'm still confused by what is meant by altcoin season, since it seems to me now that everything is rising with the BTC tide. A few bullet points for guidance would be great. Cheers. Well, congrats, George, on crushing life. That's awesome. Step 1, altcoin season just means altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. Not that Bitcoin's going down, just that altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And that's shown to us by the Bitcoin dominance falling. And sometimes it's Bitcoin season, and Bitcoin outperforms the altcoins, and it tends to go in cycles that last a couple of months each. I've showed you the Bitcoin dominance chart earlier today. So that's just what those things are. In terms of formulating an exit strategy for your bear market, you don't want to be in alts at the end. Like when we go into a bear market, you do not want to be in alts. They get hit way harder than Bitcoin. So you don't want to be in alts. If you want, you can go into Bitcoin if you want to, or you can even go into US dollars or stable coins and actually just sit on the sidelines while the price goes down if that's what you want to do. But this all comes down to your kind of strategy, your kind of risk tolerance. Like do you want to, like I said, in the previous cycle, I didn't sell any of my Bitcoin. I watched it lose 80% of its value, but then I've since watched it go up 1,000%. So I didn't bother getting in or out. If you can hold on for that long, maybe you want to do the same. But if you want to take some money off the table, and buy a house, buy a Lambo, go on a holiday, it all depends on your situation. There's too many factors that are specific to you. So I can give you a market analysis. I can tell you things to consider, but at the end of the day, it's just your situation is going to dictate the answer to this and what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to knock it out of the park and become a billionaire? Or are you trying to have several sources of income that just to make sure you never go broke, even if one collapses or two collapses or three collapses? So it depends on what's your mindset. If you want to become a billionaire, I'd say just put it all in Bitcoin and leverage yourself to the eyeballs. If you just want a nice, safe, maybe Bitcoin, the government's come and regulate it, or there's a flaw found in the protocol and it goes to zero. So, in that situation, I still want to make sure I never have to work again. So, what you can do is sell some and go and buy some real estate, and you've got the cash flow from real estate. Now you're retired with this industry and this industry. So that's what I did. I retired with 3 different industries. Then once I felt super safe, then it just became about maximizing returns. But I have different philosophies as the years go by, depending on which. I want to do some fairly low value trading on Bitcoin. Is there an app that is best, most reliable, most secure, or low fee? I use Kraken, Nicole, and that's one of my favorites. What are your thoughts about current and future US regulation on cryptos? In that same vein, if you wanted to protect your money from government oversight, which coins and exchanges would you use? I wouldn't leave my money on exchange. I would have the private keys to them. And my thoughts about current US regulation, I don't know. There'll be some things coming down, but I think it's already pretty clearly regulated. Like I know what's happening. Like I know how to treat it when I buy and sell. What happens tax time. So it's pretty clear to me. Like I'd say the regulation's already here, and I'm not expecting any major announcements or new regulations to change anything with how crypto's performing or its price. Ruth, is the complex multi-word password for the login to the trading platform or for the offline wallet or for the online wallet? It's for the it's a backup to the wallet. Usually, if you're talking about Trezor, I mean, it depends on where you're getting, or if you're talking about blockchain.info, that's a backup. So if you're at blockchain.com, sorry, I forget they've rebranded years ago. At blockchain.com, they give you a 12-word password, and that is a backup for your online wallet. With Trezor, that's a backup for your online wallet. They're the same things. So, yeah, I hope that helps. KC, can you explain the process of taking profits? That just means selling a portion of your portfolio. If you buy 10 Bitcoin, they go up in value. You might choose to sell 3 Bitcoin, and that gives you all your cash back and gives you some profit. That would be taking profit, but you still have 7 Bitcoin. But taking profit just means selling and cashing out and putting the money in your pocket. Thanks, Max. I was having a panic attack coming close to your deadline for Bitcoin to shoot off. I'm happy I invested with you. Cheers to everyone that did or has been following you. I have just some concerns with how taxes work after you cash in and out with Bitcoin. Is there an informed video for this? It's really simple, Court. You just in your exchange, and they all do it. Like say you're in Kraken, you can just download your history and then you upload it into some tax software. Do I have a link in the description? I don't think so. I don't think I have a link in the description of these videos. But yeah, if you just Google Bitcoin tax, you'll find 5 companies that'll charge you $50. You just have to do it once a year. And so, like for example, you do it now for the previous calendar year, and it just gives you a form, and you can suppress. You upload all your transactions, you click print, it'll give you a form for you to hand to your accountant, and it's done. In regards to the Pirate wallet is different than the others I've used, and I cannot find a place to create a login or a seed phrase. Any experience with this? I don't hold any Pirate coins, so no, I haven't dealt with that, sorry. The Pi cycle top indicated, I guess it means nothing. Historically, it usually signaled a top within 3 days. But it was made after the fact, so it's never predicted anything. I wonder if this is a sign that the market is different this time, considering all the macro factors such as inflation of the dollar. Now I'm looking at the logarithmic. I wonder if this time we can break the top growth curve, which is currently around 100K. Yeah, it's absolutely a possibility, Alex. Like I said, there's plenty of reasons why 2017 was a muted experience. So when people plot their regression lines and their logarithmic lines to 2017, I think they're really missing out on something. Hey Max, what are your thoughts about buying USDC to put into BlockFi at 8.6%? My only concern is that since it's pegged to the US dollar, when the dollar collapses, it could have a very negative impact on stable coins that are pegged to it. But it also seems to be a much better option than leaving it in a bank. What are your thoughts? Look, yeah, really good question. And I have not investigated this as much as I want to, but I really want to investigate this deeply. And so what was it? USDC. That's Coinbase's stable coin, right? Yeah, I want to look at that and find out what's backing that. Now that they've listed and they're worth $100 billion, how much USDC is in circulation? That might be a really, really, really strong option to transfer my cash from cash to USDC, and then I'll put it on BlockFi and earn 8%. Yeah, why not? So I like the strategy. The risk, BlockFi is a very minimal risk. I've got a lot of faith in BlockFi. It's the stable coins I have not done the investigation of. So I would like to investigate that, but probably USDC would be my favorite. And you know what would be a really good indication? It's an indication, but not definite. What is the lowest interest rate you can earn on BlockFi? That's probably the most stable, the most secure stablecoin would be my guess. Yeah, let's leave that there. I'm new to the program and stocks. What platform do I use to buy Bitcoin? Also, you said you could buy fraction shares of it. Please let me know how that works. Hey, Kathy. So what you want to do is you want to go to kraken.com. There's a link in this description of this video. Go to kraken.com and sign up to that exchange. It's just like opening a bank account. They'll want you to send utility bills and depending on how much you want to buy, but you just create an account and just go through that process. And what you'll do is you'll wire the money and then you can buy Bitcoin. And yes, buying a fraction of a Bitcoin is just easy. It's just like dollars and cents. You can just buy a fraction. It's no problem. Do you think the flipping of BTC versus ETH is likely or possible, and what time frame? How does this play out with current high gas prices on Uni and other DEX and impending ETH 2.0 and 40% of ETH potentially coming off the market? Yeah, so do you think the flipping of BTC versus ETH is likely or possible? All right, I'm not sure. I don't know about that one. I'm out to lunch on it. I mean, without doubt, it's possible. I have no doubt about possible. Whether or not I'd go so far as to say likely, I think probably not this cycle. Probably not this cycle. What are your top picks in the DeFi and NFT spaces for both large and small cap? I'm not paying attention to NFT. I think it's not justified to me. NFT is just not justified. I think it's a buzzword. I think it's hype, and I'm just not that impressed by it at the moment. DeFi is, I think, very, very exciting, and I mean, anything special like Link, and all the major protocols. Like I have a little bit of all, so I'm not like picking a winner, except for BNB. And probably one of the better performers is one I missed. I wasn't paying attention to it, but I have some DOT, I have some Cardano, I have Ethereum, and I have Link. That's what I actually hold. Do you also buy stock? No, I do not. What do you think of the Coinbase stock? I think it's probably a good one. Who do you use to purchase crypto? Kraken.com. I've been using Coinbase Pro. Nothing wrong with Coinbase Pro. They're perfectly good, Victoria. If you're all signed up with them, stick with them, no problem. Hi Max, you keep talking about having some money in cash right now so that you can swoop down and buy cheap assets after a market crash. What do you mean by having money in cash? Under your mattress in US Treasuries? I just have it in my bank account for the most part. I do have some other cash alternatives. And if you go to the Cash Bonanza section, in the members area, you can find some cool ways to hold cash risk free. I am exposed to bank risk. If a bank fails, I might lose some money in the bank account. That's okay. It's not great, but it is a thing. But if a bank fails, if like a major US bank fails and people get a haircut, I mean the price of Bitcoin goes up quadruple, and so it'll be the amount of cash I would lose would be a rounding error. So it's not really bothering me. That what's happening there with my cash. So I just have it as cash. But I think, as per the previous question, I think holding a stable coin and putting it on BlockFi and earning 8% sounds like a great idea. Hi Max, new to crypto and trading and Success Council. Question, best option for trading in New York State? I have no idea. One of the few cryptocurrency trading restricted states in the country, Coinbase seems to be the only option. Yeah, I don't know. I've never had to deal with the headache of being a New York resident, so I couldn't tell you which one's good for New York. Can you speculate on what might happen with home property mortgages as the USD CAD can continue to devalue, or when a black swan event occurs? My thinking is that currency devaluation would benefit the borrower over the lender, correct? As currency becomes worth less and earnings, tangible assets increase in value, however, the borrower would pay less from the net present value perspective. I know the bank won't end up holding the bag here, so would they call the mortgages and seize the property? So with regards to your residential houses, they're not going to call the mortgage if you're paying. Commercial mortgages, they can and do that. They break the contract and adjust the rate. They can't break the contract or pull some other trick. Yeah, with your residential, like your mortgage on your primary home, if it's a homeowner's loan, they can't revalue that. They can't do that. It's not. They can't do that. But they can do it on commercial stuff. Ideally, I would like to have enough bullion or crypto to cover off a mortgage that would be called by a bank as currency collapses. But the timing may not work out depending on how asset values fluctuate. Yes. So I mean, look, no one knows what's going to happen. The market wants to deleverage and correct. But the Fed is printing a whole bunch of money. Central banks around the world are printing a whole bunch of money, fueling the system, kicking the can down the road. Can they do that forever? Yes, they can. They can do that forever. In which case there is no deflationary event. You only have the inflationary event, in which case your debt is having lots of debt would have been the genius move because that debt inflates away. On the other side, if there is a crash and black swan event, now being leveraged to the eyeballs, not a great idea unless you know you've got the cash flow, you can push through. Even if you lose some of that cash flow, for example, tenants losing their job and moving out, et cetera, things to consider. But you're thinking all the right things. Ruth, I bought a Trezor. Can you explain how it works again? I did watch all your videos. Is it like having a safe of cash at home rather than in the bank? That's a good analogy. If so, what happens if you lose the wallet or it's stolen? Then you've lost your money. You've lost your Bitcoin. All your Bitcoin is gone for good? Yes. Also, how do you trade using a wallet? You don't. You have to send the Bitcoin from your Trezor wallet to an exchange. You need to put the BTC from the wallet back onto the trading platform. Correct. So is something useful for a buy and hold strategy? Yes. The Trezor is really good for a buy and hold strategy. Really good for a buy and hold strategy. And if you're just gonna hold it on your Trezor. Why not? But if you do all of the security features at Kraken, it's a really good online option as well. So that's a cool thing. And I bet you Coinbase is equally good. I just don't use Coinbase, so I can't confirm. sorry, my foot got tangled in the mic cord. What is the best, cheapest exchange? I think Kraken is. I've got one, but a lot of altcoins recently discussed are not on it. I'm in Australia. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, you really have to, look, the fees aren't that big a deal. So it's more about what coin do you want to buy, and you go to those exchanges. But the fees aren't that big a deal. Hello, Max. Sorry if this comes up for me twice. It looks like my original question did not load. Another individual feels Ethereum is the next $1 trillion coin. He also recommends 6 altcoins that will ride the Ethereum growth. I have money for Ethereum. Would you divide it up between the alts and Ethereum, or would you just go all in for Ethereum? Also, if you want to do a large investment for Bitcoin purchase, but Coinbase limits your daily maximum amount, is there another avenue to purchase in one large sum? You can just upgrade your account in Coinbase. Just give them more documents and go through more KYC, AML, and they'll lift your limits. But there's no actual limits at Coinbase. There's just limits depending on how much you've verified yourself. The previous question, there's no answer to that. It's just a trade-off of risk and reward, and it depends on your appetite for risk. You know, the more you're spread out among some of those major coins, you're less risk, because maybe Cardano is the coin that everyone goes to, and Ethereum just trails off into dust. That can happen. So, but if by hedging yourself across the coins, you have a lower risk. But in that, you'll probably have some winners, you'll probably have some losers, so it'll smooth out your returns. Won't be so high. It's just the question of risk versus reward. Coinbase is set to have an IPO, and it's rumored that a couple of other exchanges may go public soon. Do you think that an IPO or pre-IPO of these cryptocurrencies is a good way to play the market? What exchanges do you think are next? I think probably Kraken is next after Coinbase. And yeah, I mean, I'm saying this the day after Coinbase listed. The Bitcoin price had a run up in anticipation of it, but then it's just been kind of flat, which I'm a little disappointed in. I would have liked to have seen Bitcoin price move a little bit. We're at 63,000. Hopefully it gets a little bit of a wriggle on. Being involved in the last crash for Bitcoin and altcoin and watching my portfolio get wrecked, how will we know when to pull the plug and get out next time? Yeah, so I mean, there's a bunch of things you can do. Listen to me. It's one way. They're not guaranteed to get it right, but you can subscribe to this channel and listen. I'll let you know what I'm doing and what I think's there. I don't think we're at the top yet. And then there's a whole bunch of indicators and a whole bunch of experts, and they all use different indicators. Some use on-chain information, some use off-chain information. Some go by the timing. Something it just happens in December every time. It's going to happen in December every time. A BitBoy thinks it's going to happen in September. And so there's a whole bunch of things. Like there's no answer. If there's just one definitive answer that we all knew was going to happen, like it doesn't work that way. So yeah, that's but pay attention. I was going to take into account all of those different things, and I'll let you know when I think it's a good time to take profits. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen before September. So I'm not even entertaining the idea of selling any crypto before September. Hi Max, I'm sure you've heard of the Grey Reset being touted by many of our governments. What are your thoughts on how this will affect the crypto market? Also, when it comes to it affecting the crypto market, do you think there's a strategy we can each implement to shelter ourselves? Something like offshoring our assets in order to avoid and or limit our exposure. So this is the whole thing about what Success Council is about. And so, I mean, there's no one simple answer, but there's a whole bunch of factors to consider, and that's what we kind of teach you in Success Council. So yeah, for some people, offshoring some assets makes sense. Depends on what jurisdiction you're in, depends on what jurisdiction you're talking about. But also, cryptocurrency is jurisdictionless, and you can take it anywhere in the world and no one knows you had it. So it's kind of the ultimate tool in that respect. When should I buy Bitcoin if I missed waiting 10K BTC? I say right now. Yeah, good friend of mine just I asked them to buy way back then and they didn't. They're really frustrated with themselves. They're in your exact same situation. They finally bought some Bitcoin yesterday, and I said, yeah, it's a good time to buy. Like maybe it'll go down, but in 6 months you're going to be happy. So I think right now is a good time to buy. What's the best asset according to you in 2022? Do you think real estate is at the level to be considered too big to fail, and our government will always bail the banks and stop the correction in real estate? I'm from Canada, and it sure does feel that way. We're up 40% in real estate prices since March 2020, Our 15% GDP is real estate. Thank you. Basically, yes, it looks like they're just not going to let the real estate correct at all. So yeah, it's absolutely a thing. Novice here, how does one get a digital wallet and what to do if one has their Bitcoin in an IRA? If your Bitcoin's in an IRA, just leave it in an IRA and leave it in its tax sheltered place. And if you want to get a digital wallet, what's a digital wallet mean? Like on your phone, there's plenty of some in the App Store you can download. I don't use any on my phone, but if you want to do that, there's plenty in the App Store you can choose from. Sorry, I can't tell you what's a good one, what's a bad one. Pardon me. But if you just mean like a wallet, like you don't want to use your Bitcoin to buy coffee, but if you just want a wallet to have it, I would recommend a Trezor. Are you still planning on going forward and moving with crypto profits into real estate after the bull market ends, or are you waiting for a correctional meltdown in real estate for better deals? So I just had some really good confirmation from my accountant on this. The strategy that I will be implementing, I can actually take so when I buy real estate, the day I buy, I get all these paper losses, right? Just advanced depreciation called bonus year depreciation coming into me. You buy the real estate, have a hell of a lot of deductions, right? So the cool thing is you can actually go back 2 years, the way I'm doing this, right? So when I get my deduction, I can, let's say I think, right? Let's say we get to December this year. I think Bitcoin's peaked. It's about to crash. I want to sell, take some profits, but the real estate market hasn't crashed yet. I can sell, take my profits. I'll have to pay that money to the government in taxes with the capital gains. But then when I buy the real estate and I get the deductions back, I can go back to the previous years, up to 2 years, and get all that money back that I paid to the government then. So that's a cool little trick. I confirmed. I thought that was the case, but I confirmed it on a call with my accountant just the other day. I'm contemplating real estate, but can't shake the idea that for the next 5 to 10 years, Bitcoin crypto still offers the best ROI. Yeah, 100%. Like if you want to be in one or the other for 10 years, Bitcoin's going to destroy real estate. Bitcoin's going to destroy everything except maybe other cryptos. But cryptocurrency will destroy everything over the next 10 years. Nothing will come close. So if you just want to stick money in somewhere and just leave it, Bitcoin's your answer, in my opinion. Hi Max, new Success Council member here. So grateful to find you. Wonder about your opinion on company matching 401ks. I don't like the fees, plus the fact that it's pretty much done out of my control. I'm new to investing, so was apathetic to making investments decision until now. My husband likes the 6% matching, but is it worth the long-term investment of our money? Hope that was clear. So you can still get the matching. This is I think you can get your matching, but then put it into a self-managed retirement vehicle. It doesn't have to be one run by somebody else. So you can still keep all the money yourself. And so yeah, I'm not sure exactly how matching works. Is it just totally free? Your employer will 6% match up to 6%. It doesn't cost you anything on your salary. I'm not sure how that works. If so, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Hey Max, keep up the great work. When the crypto winter returns, how can one ladder out of crypto positions before the spring returns, e.g. by partially scaling into stablecoins, waiting for the bottom before getting back onto the crypto wagon? Thank you, Matt. Yeah, look, I probably will scale into stablecoins because with stablecoins, I can put them on BlockFi and earn like 8% interest. Whereas I put in the bank, I'm going to earn 0 interest. So yeah, I think stablecoins are an excellent option. What are your thoughts on taking the rest of my fiat, the rest of my cash I'm not willing to risk on crypto, and buying USDC and getting 8%? Yeah, I think it's a pretty good option. This question was sort of asked before, but I'm looking at doing the exact same thing. I just have I'm very confident about BlockFi. I'm not worried about losing money as a result of BlockFi. I'm not saying it's risk-free. It's a risk that I think is very acceptable. What I'm less sure of is the stable coins. I need to investigate USDC a little better, but I think it's probably going to be a pretty good option. I know you advise getting a hardware wallet. What are your thoughts on software wallets kept on a phone? They're just dangerous and too easy to hack. Perhaps there is a wallet app to turn an old smartphone into a hardware wallet. Yeah, but you're still connected to the... Well, I don't like them. For the sake of $100, get Trezor. Just do it. It's much safer. Hi Max, Jeff from the Dollar Vigilante is advising to get into Pirate Chain. In his latest video, he said that the old generation of Bitcoiners are going to sell their Bitcoin when it reaches 300-400K and get into Monero and Pirate Chain. What are your thoughts? Not too sure about the old generation of Bitcoiners doing this. Not too sure about that at all. But I think Pirate Chain is a good chain, a good coin. And so yeah, I've got nothing against Pirate Chain. Not too sure, and I'm not too sure about that statement that everyone's going into Pirate Chain. And I wouldn't go into an altcoin at the top of the market, the reverse. I would maybe at the bottom of the next downtrend, then do that, but I wouldn't do it before. Hey Max, you mentioned before that you'll be taking profits towards the end of this bull market investing into real estate. I've got similar aspirations. My concern is that central banks will simply continue to keep interest rates close to zero and continue printing for far more beyond the end of 2021 and the current crypto bull market. In that event that our current crypto bull run ends, as you predict, sometime in the Q4 this year, and the real estate market is still overinflated into 2022, would you suggest a strategy to take profits towards the end of the year and pay taxes on profits while keeping the rest of the cash on the sidelines until the real estate market crashes sometime in the future? Or would the threat of a bail-in make it too risky to do something like that, in your opinion? By the way, my inquiries come from someone's perspective in Canada. Our entire country has been taken over by communists. Yeah, Lenny, you're asking all really, really, really good questions. I don't know. Just so much goes into it. What's the tax rate? What price did you buy your thing? Like how much? What's it called? What's your cost basis? How much of it are going to be taxed? What's the tax rate in Canada? And a whole bunch of things come into it. So all I can tell, apart from that, I can tell you that you're asking all the right questions, and from there you just need to weigh up the risk and decide what is best for you. Can you explain what RSI is? RSI is the relative strength index, and it tells you what the strength is. And according to the people who made the indicator, I think they say if it gets over 80, it means it's too strong and it's overbought, and it's an indication that there's going to be a sell-off. Likewise, if it gets, I think, below 20 or 30, something like that, it's considered it's oversold and the price is about to reverse and go up. But it's called the relative strength indicator. Why does the exchange, in my case Coinbase, keep a portion of my money when I try to send it to my wallet? I don't know, and it infuriates me. It's called dust, and they just keep the dust. And they all do it. There must be a reason. It's like, I think it's because you don't know what the fee is going to be before you send. And so you send it, you have to leave a little bit for the fee, and then sometimes you don't use all of what you left for the fee, and so there's a little bit of dust left over. But yeah, it's so frustrating having all these exchanges with these little bits of dust in there. I'm like, these exchanges are holding a lot of dust. I'm interested in the real estate venture that you're planning to launch. I know it won't happen for several more months, but do you have any idea what the minimum investment might be? Thanks for all that you do. It's exciting to be part of it. By the way, guys, I still have some people emailing me. Just in case you did not get the message, the crypto fund that I was going to do, I'm not doing it anymore. So there is no crypto fund coming. There is a real estate fund coming. I will do that. And the minimum is going to be somewhere in the order of $25,000 to $50,000. And you will need a letter from your accountant, or you can do maybe a pay slip to prove that you have over $1 million in net worth, or have an income of over, is it 250? You have to be an accredited investor, so you can look up the conditions of an accredited investor. That will be the case there. Several questions here. Ethereum gas prices are ridiculously high right now, and 1inch requires paying ETH to unlock tokens for trading as well. In total, this results in nearly $60 or more in fees for a single trade. Do you have any advice on how to mitigate these expenses when buying or trading Ethereum? What strategy you use? And the answer is no. I don't think there's a way to avoid that. That just is what it is. And so hopefully Ethereum gets its act together soon. What are your thoughts on using the CHI gas token to cut down on gas costs? Is it really more cost effective? I'm unfamiliar with that token, so I can't answer that, sorry. Max, would you do with, what? Max, what would you do with money held in a 401, or in my case 457 plans? I would roll it all into a self-managed fund, leave the money in the fund, but buy crypto with it. At what price of BTC should we begin to dollar cost average or on selling a portion? It's not necessarily. I don't know yet, Timothy. It depends. It depends on the timing. Like, if it was December, I'd say do it now. It doesn't matter what the price is. But it might happen early. It might happen later. You just got to watch the channel, and I'll tell you my best thoughts as they come up. But it's not a price. There's indicators. There's on-chain indicators. There's off-chain indicators. There's the time of the year. There's a whole bunch of things that I'm going to be looking at. All different indicators. We have to wait and see them when they're there. Hi Max, love the content. As someone new to investing in crypto, I value the way you explain things. It's very informative and I feel like I've learned a lot in a short amount of time. Thank you, Gregory. I love the idea of putting my Bitcoin in BlockFi and being able to take a loan against it if I choose. Problem is I live in New York City and due to the state's restrictions, I can't. That sucks. Sorry about that. You might want to try Celsius. It's a UK-based blockchain version, and I'm not sure if they accept New York clients. Coinbase offers the loans as well, but for some reason I can't do it with them. I'm curious if there are any ways around this problem that you can think of. New York seems to be very restrictive. New York is restrictive. I'm worried as long as I live in New York City, my options will be severely limited. I think they will be. Celsius is the one I would try. Hello Max, awesome content all the time and I appreciate you very much. I joined Success Council to be part of the spending 5K in crypto and other investments and making 100K return in passive income. Did I misunderstand something? No. How do I realize those annual passive income results? So, Crypto Mojo, you're going to have to go back and just review that video. Like, it lays it out pretty clearly. It's like I spent about half an hour explaining it with a whiteboard, and there's no way I can answer that here without the use of a whiteboard in a reasonable amount of time. If you have a specific question about one piece of the puzzle that you don't understand, I can elaborate, but I can't redo the whole thing. Hi Max, what do you do for computer security? For example, do you use encrypted email? I do not use Pronto Mail. Sometimes I use VPNs. I use Brave. I don't use Tor. I usually use Google. It's not often I use DuckDuckGo. So yeah, that answers those questions. Is it best to hold coins in ledger versus staking? Should there be a percentage? I don't believe it's one or the other. And it depends on the coin. Different coins stake in different way and have different rules. But usually when you're staking, if you're staking directly, you still have the private keys, and so you'll still need your ledger. So it's not ledger versus staking, but I think you know what you're talking about. Just maybe slightly could be rephrased better. But all the different chains stake in different ways, so it just have different rules and conditions on staking, and so you have to look it up and see if it's worth you doing. Some lock them up and you can't sell for 6 months, a year, 2 years. You just got to look it up and see whether or not you want to do that. Hi Max, when do I sell my altcoins? Do I sell some towards the end of the year and hold on to some as well? Yeah, I would definitely be rotating out of altcoins towards the end of the year, but I would even be tempted to do it here in the next week or two as that Bitcoin dominance hits that blue line. So the best I can tell is we're about halfway through the bull market, but who knows? What are some strategic suggestions about position sizing and exit strategies, as well as some key indicators that we might be approaching the end of this bull cycle? Do you use on-chain data? Yeah, I use all of it, Charles, but we just have to wait until I see stuff because it's a picture that you get from lots of different indicators, and so I can't tell you ahead of time, but I'll be free with the information and happily share it on YouTube. So just keep watching the videos I create and you'll be good to go. I see incredible similarities. Silver is to gold, Ethereum is to Bitcoin. Silver is far more widely used in the manufacturing of gold. ETH is a platform is what more widely used than Bitcoin. Gold has been confiscated by the government. Bitcoin is threatened. Silver was untouched. As I believe Ethereum would be as well, it's not a threat to the dollar. Do you agree with your thesis thoughts? So you're saying Bitcoin might be banned, but Ethereum not? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I subscribe to that thesis. I think any kind of restriction will come on to, or will come onto the whole cryptocurrency market as one, I think. Hi Max, what if any are there to invest in pure blockchain technology, akin to investing in the World Wide Web at the start of the internet? I'd like to sell some shovels as well as dig for gold. Thanks. So I guess, you could argue like Coinbase is like that. Because like Coinbase is an exchange that exclusively buys and sells blockchain assets. So in doing that, you're investing in the concept of blockchain, because if Ethereum succeeds and Bitcoin fails, Coinbase doesn't care as long as something wins. So maybe you could argue that Coinbase is like that, and some of the infrastructure around blockchain technology. But you can't invest in the concept without investing in a specific chain. And that's it. All right, out of questions, guys. Thank you so much. Go ahead, smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and I look forward to lots more technical analysis and Bitcoin news over the next few days. Love you guys. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.